people depending on me. Jace's heart beat so fast he worried it might burst. The anxiety was familiar to him, though, as it happened whenever he revisited things he'd much rather forget. My brother got the big idea to rob a convenience store. He promised me we'd be just once, and then we'd have what we needed to get by for a year. I tried to talk him out of it, but he was determined. "One big score," he said, "and then we'll be golden." He was going to do it with or without me, so I decided to go with him to try to keep him out of trouble. Jace ran his hand through his hair repeatedly until he realized he was doing it and stopped, folding his shaky hands between his knees. The owner of the store figured us out before Jess had the chance to use the gun that I didn't even know he had. The owner pulled one on us, told us to get the fuck out of there before someone got hurt. But Jess, he was desperate for the money and the score. When I saw he had a gun, I was stunned, but I still tried to stop him. He tossed me aside and aimed the gun at the guy. The store owner shot him in the chest. Jace took a shaky, deep breath and released it slowly, clinging to his composure. I'll never forget the sound he made when the bullet hit him, or how hard he landed on the floor. I think he probably died instantly, but I was so shocked that I stayed with him, screaming at him not to die, not to leave me. I was still there when the cops came. They called the coroner for him and took me to jail. I was convicted of armed robbery, sentenced to 10 years, and released on probation after 6. By then, my wife and kids were long gone and no one knew where they were. I heard from Lisa once, when I was served with divorce and custody papers. I worked hard on myself in prison. I attended Narcotics Anonymous meetings, took college classes, learned a trade. If you ever need a plumber, give me a call. A ripple of laughter went through the group. When I got out 6 months ago and finally found my family, it was too late. Lisa had died of lung cancer, and the boys were happily settled with people who truly loved them. I lost everything to my addiction. The woman I loved, the sons I adored, my reputation. I'll always be a convicted felon and have to live with the memories of the day my brother was killed right in front of me. I'm focused now on rebuilding my life. I wanted so badly to see my kids, but it was important to me to not disrupt their lives any more than I already had, even if they don't remember the really bad stuff. The emotional wallop that came with recalling everything he'd lost was familiar by now. His throat tightened around a lump that brought tears to his eyes. They're such great little guys, so cute and funny and smart. Lisa did an amazing job with them. Seamus and Carolina have been so good to them, and I'm grateful that they have a nice, normal life. They deserve that. I hate that Lisa died before I could tell her, before I could say how sorry I was for putting her through hell and forcing her to make a new life for herself and the boys without me. I hate that she suffered with her illness and that I wasn't there to take care of her and our kids. I should have been there. He wiped tears from his face. I'll never forgive myself for what I put her through, and that she died without knowing how much I loved her. Jace shook his head. I'll never forgive myself for that either. After a pause, he said, I've learned in the program that we can't change the past. We can only focus on today and tomorrow and trying to do the best we can with the time we have left to make amends to the people we hurt. I hope that, wherever Lisa is now, she knows how sorry I am for what I did. I've tried to repair my relationships with my parents and sister, but they're reluctant to let me back into their lives, which I certainly understand. They lost both their sons and brothers in one dreadful night. I don't blame them for being cautious toward me. We talk on the phone occasionally, but they haven't been willing to see me. Not yet, anyway. I hope maybe someday they will. In the meantime, I plan to stick around here so I can at least be close to my kids and see them once in a while. My next challenge is to find a year-round place to live on the island, so if you hear of anything, let me know. Other than that, one day at a time, right? Thank you for sharing your story, Jace, Nina said. You're doing all the right things to tend to your sobriety and make amends. We all make mistakes we regret, often terrible, awful mistakes. I hope you'll also find the grace to forgive yourself at some point. Jace didn't see that happen.